quick session on the impact of AI, because you can't have a session like this without talking about AI, so we need to talk about AI, and thankfully, Infrastructure Client Group is busy in this space, as it is in all key spaces. So if I could welcome up onto the stage Miranda Sharp, hopefully you're here, Miranda, who is leading ICG's work on there we go. There we go. On A, and also Anushman Mishra, who's partner at Boston Consulting Group. Mark Coates, vice president at Bentley IPA, and back to the stage, Jason, wearing his Anglian hat to talk about how Anglian sees AI going forward. So welcome all. Round of applause to all our speakers, please. Thank you all. Thank you all for making your way up here. Thank you for making your way back here, Jason. Thank you very much. AI. It's here, isn't it? It's happening. It's changing the way we deliver. It's changing what we do. Perhaps we'll tee things off just gently by what is the ICG up to in this space, Miranda? Thank you for volunteering at very short notice to talk to us about it as well.
Lightspeed. Oh, wow.
About to be.
Yeah. I'm on that thing here. Is that me? Yes. Excellent. Yeah.
Yes, go for it.
Yes. If I just keep talking. Oh, yes, there I am. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. How lovely to be here. So we've had a digital and data task group at the ICG for many years, and we bring clients together as the ICG in its entirety does, in an environment where we discuss what we're up to, what we're going to do next, common challenges and themes. And what is interesting is in this area, there's a vast array of different skills and levels of maturity. People have really different accountabilities and different outlooks and different states of maturity. So are they building new stuff, or are they large asset management organisations, places like Sellafield, for example, curating an ageing infrastructure? Looking forward to your 2 o'clock session this afternoon. And so what we do is we host a neutral space for these people to share learning and progress, and talk about common areas of interest, such as fascinating, standing room only, common data environments, and the accountabilities of a data team, for example.
Super. What's the thinking?
The AI gen. Yeah. Well, yes, it's everywhere. It's not just in infrastructure. So advanced computation analytics has been the stuff of many of different streams of work for some time. What is different about this diffusion technology, it's one that's diffusing across many workplaces, is that it's in the hands of everybody, so everybody's having a go, and that will probably ease adoption and will mean that we get a proliferation of use cases in the same way there's HTML when that was put in the hands of people, but it became useful in terms of them being able to transact and find their schoolmates and get rid of the stuff in their loft. That's the stuff where it started to make a difference to people's lives.
Grand. Thank you, Miranda. Mark, come to you next. Bentley, fabulous global technology company, has been for decades, providing really, really empowering technology solutions into the infrastructure sector and beyond. So clearly, you're going to have a keen eye on this area, and I know you did some research into this area not so long ago. Do you want to just sort of sum up where Bentley sees things, and more importantly, I guess, where that research showed where the industry sees things?
Yeah, I mean, going back to that search, and you just said, Amanda, it is people becoming very accustomed to it. It's coming in by stealth, I think is the polite way. From their phones to Siri or the other available software that's out there. People are just becoming very comfortable with it, which does drive that adoption aspect. But what it hasn't sort of caught up is the guardrails that go with it. Yep. That's the big thing. You've got to get a really good base level of knowledge, base level of good quality data, and also the ability to execute it as well. So picking up what everyone has said this morning around the aging assets we've got, that is a perfect opportunity to look at that as a fixed asset to then work with it straightforwardly.
AI and tech. I think your microphone's a bit on the blink, so we'll sort that out in a second. We'll share microphones as we go forward. Thank you, Mark. Anushman, you've got a long history in the whole area of AI. So, and now BCG, obviously providing lots of insight, advice to clients worldwide. What's your kind of position on this?
So I think the buzz is real. It's here to stay. If you look across leaders and CEOs across industries, I think 90% of them think now AI will add value, real tangible value, where a year or two back people were thinking about AI is just learning, it's a toy, it's a shiny thing. Now people are starting to deploy it meaningfully into frontline of their business, in front of the customers, in front of their stakeholders, to drive results and drive value for shareholder. And it is increasingly true even for infrastructure. A lot has been said around developing skills, around spatial planning, around carbon footprint. And I think AI and data have a meaningful role to play. I think how we stitch up all the data in a way that creates that backbone and then build on it for use cases, applications, democratize the information will have a big role to play in driving that value.
And Jason, from a client point of view, I mean, I'm assuming you can see great potential in it in terms of, as we'll be talking about later this afternoon, around just driving up productivity in our sector. As Mark was talking about earlier, we've got massive amounts of work to be done, both new and existing assets, getting that delivered. Exploiting technology has to be a way to do that. So I guess you must be seeing it from a position of, there's great opportunity here, but as Marcus just said, without the right guardrails in place, are you in danger of just receiving a questionable intel? I guess how do you use it both as a client yourselves, but also how are you kind of observing your supply chain using it? How do you sort of keep a grip of that?
No secret, I'm not most technically savvy around AI, but I have commercial in my title, and I'm sort of accountable for the delivery of our complex capital program. And AI and artificial intelligence is here now, and has been for a while. And I think the reason why I'm sort of seeing the real opportunity that AI can bring to my organisation is around the productivity. It's also around the reliability and efficiency that it can bring. And yes, you're absolutely right. In our organisation, those who are sort of early adopters of this technology have, been out there and started to sort of drive some of the individual and functional use cases. But as an organisation, we are now sort of, alongside setting those guardrails, sort of preparing the foundations for how do we really exploit this to great advantage. So you mentioned about sort of delivering customer services. What does a truly digital customer service capability really look like? That we can provide not only in a cost-effective and efficient way, but also in a very reliable way. And there are other sectors out there outside of our own that are already doing this. So it's about sort of us taking on what others have already trailblazed. But in terms of sort of capital delivery, using artificial intelligence to drive out sort of inherent optimism bias within our construction and delivery programs is part of the absolute use case now to say, actually, let's be more reliable and more certain in the prediction of our sort of delivery capability. So, the opportunity is significant, and I think those of us in the position of influence not only have to set the governance and the guardrails up, but the foundations to allow this to flourish.
That's that opportunity to narrow down that optimism bias, tighten our estimating. That's a specific use case, but it feels like a very powerful use case. Is that happening? Is that?
Yeah, it is, and pleasingly across the sort of infrastructure client community, sort of the more that capability is being used, and we're sort of sharing historical and current sort of programs, to feed into a sort of common database that enables greater learning and greater insights that then can be collectively for all our benefit. That will continue to grow. And yeah, so that is something that is real and live, and giving us a lot of confidence in our ability to deliver, certainly across the water sector and the community of water companies within ICG, the confidence to be able to say, yeah, we can deliver what's in front of us.
Okay. Miranda, is that, so, that's the key? You've got more microphones than you need. Yeah, so is that sort of a focus for your work stream in the ICG?
I mean, that is a specific and useful work stream. So thank you. I'll act on it. I think so Mark mentioned the guardrails and how important there are, and how, in this fast emerging technology, the genie's out of the bottle. What we regulate, how we regulate it, we're always going to be behind. I think what is important is organisational moral compasses, however they define them, and you're going to have to guess where your moral compass is, and unless you are in control of your ethics, you're going to fall prey to them. And so we're going to have to allow a degree of grown-up behaviour around the guardrails. I'm coming back to your question, I promise. A lot of the stuff that captures our imagination, the public imagination around AI, is around sort of the generative AI and the interface. So Google, it might be Google, Plan My Holiday, ChatGPT, Plan My Weekend Away, where it is retrieving information from a vast data set and presenting it in a way that is useful to you. Now, that's okay if you've got the whole internet and it's all relevant. If you're doing a complex and unique infrastructure project, and you ask Gemini to come up with a foolproof plan, one needs to be more careful. So jumping straight to generative in complex and unique environments, or where there is limited available data, is not going to be the first step. What we're seeing much more across industries are people who have accessible and useful data sets, hopefully investing in making them more useful and accessible, but also putting in new AI-enabled techniques to help them recognise, to comprehend, and to some extent predict and fill in the gaps in that data so that they can make those kinds of better decisions. And I think it's those experiments that will give us the confidence to move much more into the generative space. But that's very much the debate that we're having in the task group.
Great, thank you. Anushma, is that how you see the...
Absolutely, right. I think jumping straight to give me a plan for a complex infrastructure project, we're not there yet. I do think that AI is not a silver bullet. Right? You can't just say, we'll use AI and it will take away all of our problem. The opportunity is huge, right? If you just look at the 10-year plan, 700 billion, any percentage of efficiency on that is a meaningful sum of money. So opportunity is huge. But to unlock that, it is not just the AI, the model, the data layer. What we have seen is it's typically a 10, 20, 70. 10% the models, the data, 20% the systems, the technology that enable it, and 70% is people, processes, operating model. It's a transformation. It's fundamentally reimagining how you would run a decision, how you would run a business, a service line, a planning function, and so on. It's fundamentally training people, changing processes to enable to extract that value. Otherwise, it's not going to meaningfully deliver what we all hope it to. I do agree the guardrails, the careful piloting and then scaling becomes very, very important to not go down a hallucination trap.
What do we see it doing to the business models of our industry? We can't, we sort of skate around it, but the reality is the majority of work done by the vast majority of people in our industry, particularly in design functions, maybe. Surely that's going to be done by AI. So what does that do for the way we work and what our people do? Is that an opportunity or is it a threat? Miranda, go on.
I'm so sorry that I'm dominating. I think this is absolutely fascinating. And for me, the question is, to what extent are we prepared to do things like construct value exchange around data? Because it'll all be the quality of the data on which you base your decisions. Am I going to automate the production or automate and improve the production of risk registers so that I keep people safe on site? Why shouldn't I be using all the data that's available about previous accidents and previous risk registers so that we do harm fewer people? And organisations becoming savvy about the value and their use of their data is a forerunner of the business models. One hopes, and there is evidence that it is the tasks that humans are really not very good at, machines will be better at, and so we will have more high-value jobs. But it's going to be very difficult to automate some tasks which humans don't like doing. So we may see a degree of polarization. My main thought here is that quite often the impact on the business model is the last thing to be considered and should be thought about earlier.
Mark, go on.
I mean, there will be roles that change and amend. There'll be a lot more new roles coming in. I've been working with the Chartered Institute of Civil Engineering Surveyors around such a role, the digital surveyor. You have multiple sources of data coming from multiple locations and also multiple suppliers. Bringing someone attuned to that to actually control it is absolutely fantastic. That is a step forward because you're actually harnessing it. You can drive adoption, you can drive change through that individual and that mindset. But it goes back to very much what you said, the quality of the data. If that data quality is poor, you have problems. And I think there's a big change coming around that I've started to see sort of lighthouse moments on. And I've always said, data has no value until you value the data. And actually now I'm seeing deals go through aging assets actually have a line in the P&L that actually has a digital insight for that data. Some of them are slightly off the mark, but again, when you suddenly see a value of that data in the P&L, you're going to see a driver there and a change in the mindset. And I think AI will be part of that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would disagree. In this industry, we have long undervalued good quality data, and I guess as we get into this, particularly as you say, that challenge of aging assets, particularly having good quality data and someone or people who can interrogate that intelligently is perhaps the future.
Most definitely, and I think it also opens up the marketplace to new people entering it as well. Not maybe the traditional people that have entered. It's a new realm of opportunity as well for us to diversify.
Nishman, you're nodding along to that. So.
Yeah, this is a topic that's talked about a lot, right? AI is here, we are all going to lose our jobs and so on. I see it slightly differently. If you think back to how the world has evolved in the last 15, 20 years, a lot of jobs that people do today didn't exist. A product manager was a very different thing 2 decades back. UX, UI designer, again, very different thing. So the way we deliver those services will change, right? Can't speak for engineering firms. We're seeing that in consulting also. A lot of consulting companies are adopting this. The way our business model in the service, the pace at which we can deliver insight, pace at which we can deliver generic stuff has quadrupled, if not more, right? So it's not that things will not get automated, but it is also about new roles, new business delivery models will come in, and I think we all will find new skills and new ways to deliver better services.
Great. Okay, that is us up against time. I would like to thank everybody for talking and giving our thoughts on the future of AI. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of my panel there. That brings us towards the end of the first session here in the ICG Live Theatre. I mean, just to really kind of wrap up this morning's session, really, we've heard about the ambition, the challenge, the opportunity in the next 10 years, in the 10-year plan. This afternoon, we're going to be getting much more into the sort of details of how to make it a reality. We're going to be talking about how, in the first session after lunch, how to really make the big projects happen. And then we're going to be having a deep dive into that real challenging area around aging assets and how we keep them alive and well. And then we will conclude by talking about the kind of driving productivity, using enterprise models, really kind of upticking the performance in our sector to finish things off. So please do join us back up here this afternoon. But for now, I would encourage you all to head downstairs where Transport for London Commissioner Andy Lord is about to take to the main stage. So do go and listen to him if you like. But equally, just feel free to mingle around, chat, communicate, to collaborate, all those things we're talking about here today. And just to highlight, Jason and many of the ICG Management Board team are here today, will be here all day today. So if you do want to find out more about getting involved in anything you've heard about this morning or we'll hear about this afternoon, do pigeonhole either me or Jason or Alice at the back there, who makes the whole ICG happen, and find out more about it. But for now, thank you very much, everybody who's taking part this morning, and see you after lunch. Thank you.